Welcome to Plug in India. My name is Abhishek. Now, have you ever wondered what happened to these old classic Revas? Do people still use them? And if they do, how are they still running them? Well, we are here in Bangalore to answer this question. And we're going to speak to a person whom we admire a lot, who will tell you a little bit about what he is doing to extend the life of these wonderful cars. This is Mr. Zarryl, who's the CEO of Extra Reinforced Plastics Private Limited. Now, Mr. Zarryl, that's a very heavy name. It's a very weighty name. It sounds like you're doing some very important work. So please tell us a little about what is it exactly that you do over here.
You mean besides cleaning the toilets?
Yes.
Okay. We were incorporated in 1966 and we are a composite molding industry. We do not really do domestic products. We do all industrial products. For the last 20 years, our focus has been on electric vehicles. And we are exporters of custom golf car bodies almost all over the world. We are the largest manufacturer in as much as that we have about 63 different designs to our bodies. And they're all men toys, different shapes, different combinations.
Right.
Most popular in the United States and in Europe. So that's our main activity. Of late, for the last 2-3 years, we have been servicing electric cars in Bangalore. We felt the need, since we had electric cars right from early 2000s and still drive both the Reva and the e2o. It's been exceedingly difficult to service the Revas. So we started servicing our own Revas, and slowly other people came to know about us, and now we're doing quite a lot of servicing of Revas itself. Yeah.
So speaking of Reva, this is the classic Reva by Mr. Chetan Maini. There are a lot of those over here. I think it's the most number of Revas I've seen in one place. Say a client comes to you with a Reva, what do you do exactly? What kind of service do you provide?
We provide everything now, anything. As you would have seen earlier this afternoon, we had a totally damaged Reva that came to us a week ago.
Yeah.
And it has just left for the client's place. The lady was so distraught when the service center actually told her that she needed to write off her car. In desperation, she came to us, thinking that she's going to get the same answer. She's going to be one happy client in a little while when she receives her car in perfect condition.
Right.
Possibly, not possibly, definitely in better condition.
And in record time.
And in record time, yeah.
Mr. Lobo, I've just taken the car out to have an appointment. And thank you so much for every consideration and all the help you have given, and for all the support and the work you have done on my completely broken car.
Chetan did a fantastic job when he started that car, and we believe that that car will carry on into 2030 without a doubt. It's not iconic, but it becomes part of a person's life itself. And while a lot of people would like to say it's a lady's car, well, then I fit into that one also.
Yeah.
I know lots of gents and families which use it.
Yeah, that's just a stereotype about women and the car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mahindra has stopped providing service for these cars. What do you think about their attitude towards the classic Reva?
They want to scrap them. And I guess they're also finding it a little difficult to source the parts, the car being out of production. Then the question would be, how do we get the parts? Well, we also source the parts from junked cars, right? And we tell the client very, very clearly that the parts are not new parts, but they're well checked and can be used. And as I said, he built a good car. All the parts that we use are checked properly and then only fitted into the donor car itself. Yeah.
So, Mr. Lobo, if something were to go wrong with somebody's Reva, say for example, their onboard charger were to turn faulty, or their IEMAS was not working, could they come to you for spare parts? Where would you get the spare parts? And even if you were to be able to source them now, say 5 years from now, would you still be able to source them? Please provide a little information on that.
As I said a little earlier, that we're sourcing the parts as of now from donor vehicles, which for whatever reason have gone off the road. Most of the electrical parts are fairly robust, but yes, thanks to BESCOM and the bad power supply, we do get chargers and EMSs which do get burnt out. In fact, the car behind us has just had a charger and EMS meter and wiring changed. We got it out of a donor car. We test all these electrical parts before they're put in, and then they're put in, they're monitored, and if everything is okay, the car is given. Most of these parts to start with were very, very expensive when they were available. And at a fraction of the cost now, we get them from donor cars and put them on. Your second part of the question was, what do I see 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that 5 years from now, there will be more donor cars. And as a result, we'll have parts available. Actually, I'm fairly sure that we'll get parts. There's no problem at all. We'll keep the car alive as long as we can. And 2030, I don't think is a tall order. So, yeah.
And what if somebody wants to get a major upgrade, like a range increase to 200 kilometers or so, or they want to change from lead acid to lithium battery? Could you provide that service?
There are people who are making lithium-ion packs. And as you may or may not know, we did a year ago for one of the manufacturers in Chennai, manufacturer of lithium-ion packs. We did do an upgrade over here, and we changed the shape of his car, and he got close to 400 kilometers, though we were looking at 330 kilometers to start with. But then, of course, such things, there's a cost factor involved, and whether it would be worth, on a second-hand car, making a change to an expensive battery pack. Something that we are exploring, but
on a case-by-case basis.
On a case-by-case basis.
Right.
Here's how I look at it as of today. This is a city car, right? I don't see anybody in a city needing personally 200 kilometers. Wishful thinking says, yeah, I must have 200 kilometers. But is it really necessary is something that, we talk to the client. We get a client a week saying, I want an upgrade. And then we talk to him and ask him, are you willing to spend this amount of money? And if he says yes, I guess we will do it. As of now, as I say, we've only done one. And that has been successful. It's still running very, very well in Chennai. It's been featured a lot. So if somebody wants it, we'll do it, yes.
Mr. Lobo, tell me what else your company does besides work with Reva. As I understand it, you also work on golf carts.
3 years ago, we decided to come into the market and start making people movers. We didn't really want to go to the golf car segment because there were already very, very well established companies, both American and Japanese companies in there. We didn't want to be associated with the Chinese companies, nor did we want to come down to their level. Today, we have people movers which consist of 4-seaters, 6-seaters, 8-seaters, 10-seaters, and 12-seaters. Our major clients are ashrams and temples, resorts, and parks. Here's where we actually come. As you know, as Indians, we are much, much more innovative than most of the American companies and the other companies actually manufacturing. these branded carts, I won't go to golf carts, but carts, start with, they're all golf carts, they're then stretched and modified to be people movers. Our cars are designed and built to be people movers. Our whole geometry, components are all the latest components. We have hydraulic brakes. We have right-hand drive for Indian conditions. I mean, we've got a host of features. We've got independent shock absorbers all around. We've got the latest AC motors. We have onboard chargers on the cars. So they're like they're next generation. They're not bullock carts. I mean, that's what I would actually compare the imported cars to. But we don't want to talk too much about them because they are who they are. And when once people actually, we have a resort, they just bought one of our cars, and once they used it, a lot of these resorts are actually in hilly terrain and bad roads, right, getting to the resorts. Where we've actually studied and cashed on. We know and can take anybody to these resorts where you see these branded carts actually lying in the corner over there, and our carts are sailing through. We have tested them, and we do test them rigorously, and we have had no problems at all. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Lobo, my final question to you is is a slightly personal one. That is, it has personal importance to me. I own an e2o. And I feel as much for the e2o as current classic Reva owners feel for their classic Revas. And for the time being, Mahindra is providing services is servicing these cars. And but then a lot of people's cars have finally run out of their warranty periods, and others are approaching the end of their warranty periods. Everyone is a bit concerned about what will happen if Mahindra were to stop servicing the e2o 5 years down the line. I know that I would never want to sell my e2o. I had the opportunity to exchange it for the e2o Plus, but I refused to because the car is so dear to me, and a lot of people feel that way. What do you think your company can do to help people like me, who Mahindra may not help a few years from now?
First, I would like to say, Mahindra's is a well-reputed old company, Indian company, with very strong roots and ethics. I also own, as you know, in our family, we have quite a few e2os also along with the Revas.
Right.
And yes, I definitely have the same apprehensions as you would.
Right.
5 years down the line. My car has just come out of the 5-year warranty period, right? And I'm not trying to say that it's without problems, but I guess with any mechanical vehicle, it will have its problems. There will be wear and tear and things like that. The first part, let's go to the mechanicals of the car. We have studied the mechanicals, and we feel that you just don't have to worry about the mechanicals. Okay. As you very well know, Chetan actually derived the e2o from the Reva, and so structurally it is really very strong. Again, coming back to that Reva that actually met with an accident, and other e2os that have met with accidents, they're structurally very, very strong. They're very strong. The mechanicals, they have to wear out, and most of those mechanicals will be available. All the brakes, the shock absorbers, and things like that. Unlike an IC car, the number of mechanical parts are very, very small, so I don't think you need to worry, get paranoid about it. Electrical parts, I hope that Mahindra is able to carry on supplying it, because we also do hear that in 2000, starting towards the end of this year, that the e2o will be phased out due to the Bharat norms. And I think ethics will make them keep them. The second problem that I fear, and everybody should fear, is at what cost are we going to get the parts, right? Today, a charger is 66,000 rupees, which then nullifies the the whole idea of having an
savings.
electric car itself, right? So yeah, I think that is, we need to be worried because these are all going to be not going to be. They are all dear to us, right? We use them on a regular basis. We've got attached to them, and think. But I think with Mahindra's ethics, and I hope Anand is listening. He makes the parts available to all of us today and 5 years from now, because even today we are having problems to source, to get the parts from the service center. The service center itself is having thing. I do hope that Mahindra is listening to this, if for nothing else, at least to keep us, on the road and not scrap our cars also.
You heard it from the man himself. You need not worry about the e2o for a few years at least. And even after that, there is a good chance that you will still be able to service your e2o and get parts for the e2o. Anyway, thank you so much, Mr. Lobo. It was wonderful talking to you. It was great meeting you last year as well. And every time we talk to you, it raises the level of EV-related discourse among our group and among the community. So thank you so much, and I hope we will get the chance to talk to you again. Thank you.
Thank you.